All right, grown-ups, it's just our time. I love the babies, but to help you, I gotta speak my mind. This segment's here to help you grow with book reviews, lessons, and things you'll be glad to know. If your little one's restless or looking to play, send them to my other playlist. The read-alouds there will brighten their day. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to the Teacher Lady Show. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Behind the Book. I'm Miss Erica, the Teacher Lady, your fairy godparent when it comes to sharing joyful stories and growing young minds. Now, every single week on this show, we have a new topic, and this week's topic is all about transracial adoption. When families adopt a child that is different from their own, how do we make sure that that child still feels included and loved and embraces their own cultural identity, okay? And of course, we're using picture books to help us on the topic. Now, today's Behind the Book review is going to be on The Electric Slide and Kai. If you have not done so, be sure to check out the Read Aloud first, which aired on Monday over on the Teacher Lady Reads playlist, and then come right back here for this episode of Behind the Book because we will be going over the glows, what I think was done well, the grows, what I think could have been done differently, who this book is for, and how do you use it as a resource to make sure your child feels strong in their own identity, okay? All of this episode of Behind the Book, where we go beyond the pages to get to the heart of the story. Summary in my own words. This is the story of Kai, who does not seem to have the same rhythm as the rest of his family. Everybody gets a special nickname except for him, okay? And he is struggling to figure out his own rhythm and his own beat. So it is his journey to finally getting back on the dance floor after a disaster. Take-home message and target age group. The take-home message is truly that you get to march to the beat of your own drum. Kai tries to have people teach him how to dance and show him special moves. And ultimately, what it came down to was his own confidence to dance in a way that felt good for him, regardless of the mistakes that he may have made along the way. So there is a take-home message of being good with yourself, being okay with who you are, having a bit of confidence, being brave, and being unique, even in the midst of your family and even when everybody else is the same. There's also the message of patience, right? Because his granddad is giving out all these nicknames and everybody else seems to get theirs way earlier than Kai. And it isn't until Kai stops trying to focus on what he looks like or if he's going to get it wrong that he finally gets his nickname too. In terms of target age group, go 5 years old and up. I would even say 4. It's just a fun story. It's a story that reminds you the importance of personal identity, even in the midst of a group. It is a Black culture story and just exciting, okay? It's just a good time. So you can definitely go younger when it comes to this book. Who this book is for: Black children. Definitely. The book is filled with Black culture Easter eggs. The electric slide is something that is special to us. There were things in the background on the pages. It shows Black love, Black unity, family dynamics, and more. I enjoyed the nicknames. There's a lot I enjoy, but we're not quite to the close yet. But in terms of who this book is for, if you have Black children in your home, in your school, classroom, definitely add this to the collection. And if you just want a fun story, a pick-me-up laugh, this is also definitely for you. Glows are so easy for this story, okay? I love the underlying messages that are in the book. The message about having your own rhythm, the message about, being confident in who you are, the message that you belong, even when you're different from the rest of your village. There are so many messages in this book. The message of patience, the message of vulnerability, and the message of rhythm and culture, okay? I really appreciated how many messages there were in such a beautiful picture book. The other glow that I have is definitely the images. I am blown away by this illustrator's work. I think that some of the shadows that are in the background that bring the pictures to life, some of the details, even on the seams of the pants. So in the beginning of the story, Kai's mom is, talking at the dinner table and lets them know that they got invited to this wedding. And one of the things that I noticed is the design of her pants, just the details of this artwork, the wedding ring, the paper she's holding. It's very hard to do. As an illustrator, I can attest that it is difficult to add so many details and so much texture. And I was really blown away with how beautiful the movement was on the pages. They did an excellent job, this author and illustrator, and let me say their names to give them proper credit. Kelly J. Baptiste and Darnell Johnson. It really feels like they worked extremely well together to bring these pictures to life. Rose, I only have one. In the story, it's a lot of mom said, DJ said, he said, they said, this one said. And because of the images, we would have understood the flow of the story without identifying the speaker every sentence. I believe that the flow of the story would have worked better without all of those, because we can see, based on kind of context clues, who it is that's speaking. Like there are times where the mom is speaking and she's speaking for multiple sentences, and it keeps readdressing that she's the one that's speaking. And I just didn't think it was necessary. I don't even know that it's a grow. It's just something that I noticed. Overall, the book is so near perfect, and I am so grateful to have found it. I will definitely be ordering more copies to add to our school library because, they need to be readily available whenever we have a child that needs a bit of a pick-me-up, and I encourage you to do the same. The link is located in the description box below. Be sure to add this to your collection. Discussion questions to have with your child, specifically this week talking about transracial adoption. If you are adopting a Black child, I would have the discussion around music, around, culture, around where they can go and what places you can visit so that they also feel like they have this sense of community. I would talk about community and just really open it up to make sure that they feel good about who they are in terms of maybe your child is not Black and, you're still interested in the book. You could definitely have the discussion around having your own confidence and your own rhythm, around even going against the grain or being a little bit different, and how beautiful that is. So regardless of the race of your child, this book for me has so many powerful messages that I would recommend it for any child, okay? Making sure that your child feels seen and included. You want to have intentional books like this. You want to have posters and books and movies and things that are going to constantly uplift them and remind them of their beauty. Thank you so much for learning with me, for growing with me, and for being with me today, okay? If you have not done so, be sure to check out the Read Aloud on this story and add this book to your personal collection. I am also an author and illustrator and extremely inspired by this story. I'm going to have to get back in the lab. Be sure to check out my books as well as the Empathy Library, which is a pay-it-forward program where we get books to children in need on purpose by way of your generosity. So those books reflect the identity of the child receiving them. Thank you for learning with me and for growing with me. Until next time, you remember to enjoy the moment or go be a joy in the moment. Bye.